All right, hello everyone. Welcome back to TCR Trinity Competitive Racing. We are here tonight with the Golden Class in round 10 of season 11. We've only got a couple more races left, well, not including this one, and we are here tonight at the Canadian Grand Prix, my home Grand Prix, which I am very proud of. It's a great track. It is super quick. There's great corners all over the place, and there's always surprises. Sometimes it's the weather, sometimes it's some big incidents. Let's see what is going to be here tonight. Welcome everyone once again. It's myself, Blin Machine, with you guys tonight, and joining me in the booth is no other than Broom Handle. Broom, you've got a great performance here last night. You've had some really amazing performances in Silver Class this season. Welcome to the booth again, and how are you?
Thanks, Blin, so much. Thank you so much for that intro. And, yeah, gotta say, good to be here. Good to be back with TCR. Haven't commentated in a while. Been kind of busy on Wednesdays, but, yeah, good to be back with TCR, and especially with Golden Class. I mean, I was actually just looking over the standings recently, and we got a really, really good championship fight for the drivers and constructors. And you mentioned in that intro that we're coming down to the few last races of the season. So, yeah, we can start talking about the champions for constructors and drivers later on. But, yeah, looking really good here today at the Canadian Grand Prix for, I do believe this is round 8 at Golden Class. Yeah, but super excited to get into this and see who comes out on top here today at TCR.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a very exciting race tonight. The Canadian Grand Prix never disappoints. There's always surprises, as I mentioned before. And already getting some intel from one of the drivers letting us know that we should be expecting some rain towards the end of the race. So it's going to be a dry quali, dry start, and then we might have a little bit of rain towards the end of that race. So that could be very exciting. Running through the times on the grid right now, we've got QVR Packer leading the championship and leading the times in qualifying at the moment with a 108.164. Snipper Pig, who we're watching on track right now, he is currently in second place, 108.503. He's on another hot lap. He's on that casino straight running into the last chicane of this track. That's going to be turns 13 and 14, also known as the Wall of Champions, on the exit, and he invalidates his time, so he's going to have to go again, but he's still got almost 9 minutes to go in this qualifying session. Let's talk to Broom here for a second. You know, we both raced here last night. I absolutely love this track, but unfortunately both of us had to race in intermediate conditions in light rain from start to finish. And I know how it went for me. It didn't go very well, but how did it go for you?
Unfortunately, it was kind of the same situation. Wasn't the best race, I gotta say, last time out in Silver Class. I think I came home for like P7 or something like that. So still some points on the table, which I was happy with. But what I can tell you is that the track is very difficult in intermediate conditions. This was like this in Silver Class last time out, but in Golden Class, I'm not sure if it's going to be the same, but if it is going to be the same, I think we're going to be in for a very interesting race. And as we did mention, it's going to be raining towards the end of the Grand Prix. So we won't have the same sorry, I lost my words. We won't have the same sort of situation with the conditions on track throughout in Silver Class, because in Silver Class we had a full rain race. In Golden Class, we're going to have a rain race at the end, so that could also mix up strategies as well, as drivers may be qualifying on the mediums, and if the rain comes at a certain point, they might go mediums to intermediates. Is that a possible strategy? It's just time will tell. You never know. But yeah, really looking forward to this and seeing how these drivers will cope with these interesting conditions on track.
And here comes Just Jose to cross the line for an improvement on his time, 108.483, beating Snipper Pig to second place potentially at the moment right now. We will see. We've got Charger sitting in fourth, and he is about to finish his outlap. This gives us a good chance to jump on board, and we're going to go through a lap of the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Welcome into turn 1, very, very quick into there, which is a nice chicane into turn 2, going left to right there, as Charger's trying to climb up the little bit of a hill, and he is coming into now turns 3 and 4, almost touching the wall on the outside there. There's a lot of chicanes on this track. Here's another one, turn 6 and 7, which opens us up to the first DRS zone on track that the drivers are going to be able to use on their hot lap, as Chargers is running into now 8 and 9, another little chicane, and now he's on his way to turn 10, which is the slowest corner on this track, and also known as Le Pin, which is the pin in French. So basically, he's just gone through there, got a really, really good run, and he's now onto the Casino Straight and running into the most famous chicane on this track, which got the Wall of Champions on the outside, also known as the Quebec Wall, and he gets a beautiful run through there. No invalidation. Chargers currently in 4th. Where is he going to be? He jumps himself up into 3rd place, and Snipper Pig in the meantime also improved this time to a 108.125. Chargers 108.421, and QVR Packer in the meantime also improved again to a 107.897. So he's the first one into the 107s right now.
Yeah, very interesting qualifying session, or move into the qualifying session, because of course we're not seeing these pole positions times coming in quite yet, because there's still going to be a chance for drivers to set those quick times. But I gotta say, QVR Packer, what a lap that was, a 107.897, the first driver to go into the 107s. So I mentioned earlier that those pole position times are not coming in quite yet, but I gotta correct myself. I think that might be a very close shot at a pole position time for QVR Packer. But a very good lap by the Season 8 Silver Class champion Chargers in that Red Bull. Want to say very clean and steady, and yeah, really surprising how he was able to just control the car in a way that was just very, very good. So yeah, very impressive lap from the Season 8 World Champion of Silver Class. Yeah, Chargers very, very quick so far. And of course his teammate, Snipper Pig, going P2 with a 108.1, as we did mention. So I think it's going to be a really, really close fight between all these drivers for the first position on the grid.
Absolutely, and I think there's a couple of other talking points we should probably cover in this qualifying session. So going into this Canadian Grand Prix, of course, we've got 3 races left, including this Canadian Grand Prix, so not much time left. There's only a total of 78 points available to any individual driver in this season. The difference right now is only 17 points between QVR Packer and Snipper Pig in 1st and 2nd place. And then we've got Bats Plus and Perry the Dog. They're tied for 3rd with 103 points, and they're also teammates, which is a very interesting thing. They're in the Mercedes cars. Mercedes would have loved that if Valtteri and Lewis could be tied on points right now and battling for 2nd or 3rd place, but that's not the case. But that's an incredible job by both of the Mercedes drivers. And looking at it another way as well, they're only 18 points away from Snipper Pig in 2nd place, and only 35 points away from 1st place in QVR Packer. So this could possibly be a turning point, or this could be another way for QVR Packer to pull ahead. We're going to be heading into really a very important race for a lot of drivers here tonight.
Absolutely, yeah, you were just talking about that Drivers and Constructors Championship there, particularly those 2 Mercedes drivers, Bats Plus and Perry the Dog. Very similar pace, and I think, like you mentioned, they are both tied for, I do believe, 103 points in the Drivers Championship for 3rd. That just proves how quick these drivers are at just being quick, you know? You don't see that very often between 2 teammates being on the same level of pace, of especially for points as well. So we really have a huge battle for first in the Drivers' Championship between 4 different drivers. Isn't that incredible? QVR Packer, Snipper Pig, and the 2 Mercedes battling it out for first in this Drivers' Championship. And as you said, it's really just about, this could be a very good turning point. You never know what can happen. One driver could emerge with some big haul of points here today. So Bats Plus and Perry the Dog, I wanted to quickly mention, They are battling it out for the championship right now between themselves, but they also got to remember they are teammates, and I do believe they work very well with being teammates, of course. And so my thoughts right now are, and I hope their thoughts are the same, they got to work together to be able to also think about the constructor standings as well, as they are fighting Red Bull, who are sitting second and third with their 2 drivers. And at the moment, Bats Plus and Perry the Dog are sitting 14th and 17th with not really improvements from their lap times at this moment, but I'm sure they're going to go quicker. But yeah, this is going to be a very interesting race and could turn the tides in both championships.
Yeah, just 1 point separating those 2 constructors, with 132 points still up for grabs in this championship. And QVR Packer aborting his lap. He just got an invalidated to add to that as well for good measure. Who else do we have here? Sniper Pig, Chargers, Just Jose, X Breezy, and Jones are all out there right now on their quick laps. I think Snipper Pig is about to be crossing the line here in just a moment. We're going to jump on board with him, and we're going to see if he can possibly beat QVR Packer to pole position for the Canadian Grand Prix for round 11 of this golden class in TCR Trinity Competitive Racing. If you guys are watching, thank you guys so much for joining us once again. If you're new to the channel, subscribe and you won't miss out on all the action that goes on here every week with the 3 classes, silver, gold, and platinum. We'll be racing here tomorrow as well. And Snipper Pig invalidating on turn 4. So he is going to be at best in second place. What is Chargers going to do? Chargers through turns 3 and 4. He's clean through there. No invalidation. Let's see if he can make it through this lap, if he can possibly improve his position. He's only a couple of thousandths slower than QBR Packer through Sector 1, so that is a pretty good performance there. A little bit messy on the exit there of turns 6 and 7, now running through 8 and 9. No invalidations yet. Chargers is still on a pretty good lap here as he's now running into the hairpin, or the pin as it's called here in Montreal, of turn 10, and now he's onto the casino straight. He's going to have some slipstream, that's for sure. I'm not sure who that is in front of him.
I think it's the same TJ in the AlphaTauri. He's actually going to get out of the way there. It's very much... It looked like there was going to be contact there. But Chargers is about to come across the line. I want to see if he can improve on this lap, and he's going to go ahead of his teammate. He does not. He does not improve on that lap, but he stays P3, and it will be a Red Bull 2-3, I do believe, unless Just Jose can improve on his lap. And real quick update on the 2 Mercedes. Difficult day for them. Bats Plus 15th on the grid, and Perry the Dog 6th on the grid, so they're going to have to make up some time as Just Jose does abort that lap and does not continue. Who else is on track at the moment, Blinn?
Perry is pulling out of it as well. I think that's it. This is going to be it. It's going to be QVR Packer on pole position with Snipper Pig in second, the 2 Red Bulls starting second and third. So that is a great performance for the 2 Red Bulls, and they are in for a good start, hopefully, or for at least a good starting position. We'll see if the start goes in their favor or not when we get to the race. But for now, it's QVR Packer on pole position, Snipper Pig in second, Chargers in third, Just Jose is going to be fourth with his McLaren, X Breezy in fifth, Perry in sixth, Jones in seventh, Golderator in 8th place, You Having a Giggle in 9th, Ryan is going to be 10th, we have same TJ in 11th, Be Good in 12th, and Bam Bam in 13th place. Driz Mick is going to be starting on 14th position, Bats Plus in 15th, Prudent in 16th, and the Yuppie is going to be in 17th place at the back of the grid.
A very interesting qualifying session we just had. Very close between, especially the top 3, I want to say. Those 2 Red Bulls, I feel like there may have been a little bit more pace between those 2, but they gave their all, really. I think we also got to remember that this track is on strict corner cutting. So viewers, usually TCR, of course, we have different corner cutting for different Grand Prix. Of course, the track suits different corner cutting because, of course, that's how the game kind of works. So for this track, we're doing strict corner cutting. So that's why... a lot of these drivers are getting invalid lap times pretty quickly, because the reason why we're having strict is mainly because, I want to say, because, of course, this track, you can gain a lot of time if you cut a lot of corners, and we don't want any drivers cutting any corners. So, yeah, that's why we have strict on. And I want to say throughout the silver class race, it went pretty well with the strict corner cutting, so shouldn't be too much of a problem, but I think a lot of drivers are going to have to watch out for those penalties, and that could also change the effect of this race as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of factors here tonight in Canada at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal for the Canadian Grand Prix. Again, it is round 10 of season 11. We've only got 12 rounds in this season, so these are the last 3 races that we're heading into. A lot on the line for the Golden Class. We've had 6 different winners in season 11 so far. We've had QVR Packer, Snipper Pig, Bats Plus, Perry, Silent, and Just Jose all winning races in this season. 6 out of 10 races, or out of 9 races, have been won by different people. That is incredible. That is something that I wish would have happened in real life F1, but that's what we're here for. That's what TCR brings to you guys. Some really close action here tonight in Gold Class. Let's get ready for that.
Yeah, that kind of reminded me of the 2012 F1 season when I do believe we had 7 different drivers winning out in the first 7 races. And actually, the last, I think that 7th driver that won was Lewis Hamilton at this very Grand Prix for the 7th round of the 2012 championship. If I'm not mistaken, a little history for you guys there when it comes down to real F1. But anyway, it's QVR Packer having a little bit of issues coming out of turn 2, I do believe that was. Another factor to bring up here, as we've been saying, there's a lot of factors to bring into this race, but traction, that's going to be something to watch out for here, viewers, as this is going to be interesting between a lot of these drivers, as a lot of corners for round here. If you come on the power too early, you can have a lot of issues with the traction, especially out of exits of corners. In particularly, turn 2 is a big traction zone, as well as the exit of turn 10, the hairpin, I do believe that is. There's a few other corners. I won't name them all later on if we get to that point. But yeah, something to keep in mind, viewers.
Very exciting stuff. Canadian Grand Prix, as we've already said. Let's get ready for that as we're all watching our drivers getting ready. A couple of things I did want to mention. The skies do look very gray. We did hear from Intel, from one of the drivers, that we might get rain towards the end of the Grand Prix. Looking at tires, Be Good on mediums, Bats Plus on hards. Everyone else is starting on a soft tire, so I think a lot of drivers are building on the promise of that rain coming later on, fitting on those soft tires for now. Probably going to go to another set of softs or something, and then fit on intermediates if the weather calls for that. But for now, the predicted pit strategy is a 2-stop for most drivers, going to another set of softs or mediums. I think we're going to see some people trying to pull out a 1-stop, like for instance Be Good or Bats Plus. Bats Plus is starting for 15th place, so not a good starting position for the guy who's currently in 3rd, or tied for 3rd in the championship. QVR Packer on the top step there, on pole position. He's going to be starting us for this race here tonight. Let's go on board with Charger so we can get a good view at the front. 3, 4, and 5 lights are on. And the lights go out, and we go racing here tonight in Canada for the Canadian Grand Prix. Ooh, there's a car beside Chargers. They're trying, going for positions. Just Jose, his car is ghosting for some reason. I'm not sure if it's having some internet connection problems, but QVR Packer is still in front, but Snipper Pig and Just Jose now battling. Oh, they make some contact. They both make contact, and it's Snipper Pig into the wall. I think he might have crashed out. I'm not sure how much damage he's just gotten from that, but there's a Sector 1 yellow, and it's back to green. He's still back on track, so he's got probably a bunch of damage. Let's take a look. It's actually not that bad. He's missing a couple of pieces of his front wing. He's very lucky to have stayed in this race, but that is not a very good start for him. Just Jose is still in 2nd place, but he is missing an end plate on his front wing as well. Or is he? He doesn't seem to have any damage. That's incredible. I can't believe it.
Yeah, major drama in the start of the Grand Prix, Blin. Basically, I think what happened there is that you just can't, I mean, this is kind of an obvious answer, I want to say, but you can't really go side by side through turn 4. I think what's going to happen is exactly what happened in 2018, I want to say, with Sebastian Vettel, or 2019, sorry, Sebastian Vettel and Lewis Hamilton. It's kind of as simple as that. But what eventually happened is Just Jose and Snipper Pig did make contact, and the championship contender for the championship is down in P17, and he is pitting because he does have wing damage. But I gotta echo your words here. How did Just Jose not get damaged here? That was very surprising, but I'm not sure how that's all worked out, really, but he is in second place. That's worked out as brilliantly. But look at that. I think we have a Williams off the track. That's prudent. Off the track at turn 5, I think that is. He's actually going backwards. Oh, no, never mind. It was a little glitch there on my part. Sorry about that. But yeah, prudent back on track, but he's got a little bit of damage there. So that's not good. But yeah, that's the reason why the yellow flag was called out. But otherwise, QVR Packer does lead us away with about a 2.2 second gap to Just Jose. It's looking pretty good for the championship leader.
Wow, that was a very action-packed start there, and very unfortunate for Snipper Pig. Very fortunate for Just Jose. No idea how he managed to survive that one, but now we're watching as Ryan is thinking of a move on Jones as they're coming into the last chicane of turn 13 and 14. But no, Ryan had to back out of that one, and Jones doing a very good job of defending. We're going to have DRS enabled on this lap as we're now already on lap 3. We went by that one pretty quickly as we were talking about that hectic start there. But other than that, everybody's made it through. The gaps are very, very small between drivers. There's a little bit of a gap between Jones and Eggs Breezy, about 2.6 seconds, and QVR Packer 2.2 seconds ahead of Just Jose. Other than that, everybody's going to be within DRS range as they come out of turns 5 and 6 there. And here comes Ryan on Jones. And there's an overtake for P6. That was very quick. Ryan, I think, started around P10 or so. Let's see where he started. Yeah, he started P10. So he's up into P6 already very quickly.
Yeah, he's I think he's the driver that's gained the most positions. He's up 4 places. So good start from Ryan, and he's making moves pretty quickly. Jones, by the way, did get a penalty, so that's the first penalty of the day. But of course, he has to keep focused and keep fighting his Gold Raider. Another penalty for the Haas driver. So he is now 3 seconds, of course, and he's the second driver to get a penalty. So penalties starting to creep in a little bit, but these drivers still have to stay focused. Little update on the 2 Mercedes drivers. Perry the Dog up into 4th place, challenging Chargers for 3rd position. So Perry's making his way through the field to fight that driver who's fighting his team for the Constructors' Championship. Bats Plus had a difficult start to the race, of course. Started in the hards. I think he just didn't have enough pace in those hards on the first lap, but it looks like he's gotten used to them as now starting to make moves. He's P13, as I do believe there's a yellow. I do believe that's a racing point of Drismic in P15 now.
And Golderator there was making a move on Jones, and he made it work. He's up into 7th place now. Jones lost a couple of positions there quickly to Ryan and Golderator, and he's also now got You Having a Giggle on his back. So this is a really big train of cars here battling. Perry the Dog is closing up on Chargers, but was not quite close enough. 3 different DRS.
Here goes Jones. Oh, and there's contact!
Oh my gosh!
Gold Raider in the wall. Gold Raider in the wall at the Wall of Champions. That was major contact, and there just wasn't enough room to go through. Their virtual safety car has been called out on the 5th lap of this Golden Class race, but Gold Raider into the wall. I'm not sure exactly who was all fault there, but I think the stewards may look into that incident if it is reported. But yeah, Jones and Gold Raider do make contact on the Wall of Champions, turn 14, I do believe that is.
It is, yes. Very crazy incident there. We just switched on board with Jones as we saw both of them make contact. And, yeah, I think, it looked from the onboard that Jones was ahead. But, Drism or Golderator definitely coming out a little bit worse out of that one. He's pitted now for a brand new wing. He also had to make a very interesting maneuver to get into the pit there. He pretty much had to go almost the other way or the wrong way on the track, but managed to survive all of that. So we'll see if he can recover in this race. We've now got a couple more drivers very close to each other. You Having a Giggle is now closing up on Jones as well. He's going to have DRS on him in just a moment as they cross that DRS line. And here comes You Having a Giggle. He goes one way, he goes the other way. He's going to be down the inside into the last couple of corners, and he makes that one stick. That's P7 now for You Having a Giggle. Jones dropping another position there and coming under a lot of pressure. Now switching to the front a little bit. QVR Packer 2.4 seconds ahead of Just Jose. Chargers 1.2 seconds behind Just Jose in third position. And then we've got Perry the Dog and X Breezy very close to each other and battling. So this could get ugly. What happened there? Same TJ has retired from the race. I think he went into the pits and it's a virtual safety car.
I think what he just did is he may have spun it off of the wall of champions. And it looks like he did the almost exact same thing that Kevin Magnussen did in 2019 of qualifying, I do believe. It looks like he may have spun and hit the wall on the left there. It almost looks like exactly the same incident that happened to Kevin Magnussen back in the real F1. But that means same TJ is our first retirement of the Grand Prix. That's unfortunate, I want to say, but that is the way it goes in racing. And we do move on, but a virtual safety car has been called out yet again, as we did mention, and the drivers will have to decrease their speed and kind of let this VSC go, and then they'll get back to racing. Something else I quickly wanted to mention before we move on is I've been looking at the ERS difference between a lot of drivers on track. Right now, there is a huge difference between certain drivers on the grid. Perry the Dog is 100% ERS, where drivers like Chargers and X Breezy around them have about 30 to 40% ERS. So there's a massive difference there. Another driver is Ryan, P6 at the moment. He's also got 100% ERS, where You Have a Giggle has about 39% ERS. So there is a huge difference between ERS, and that might be one of the reasons for some other drivers having less or more pace.
And it's only lap 7 of 35, so there's a lot more to go in this one. And these drivers are going to start, or going to have to start thinking about their pitting strategy and their tire strategy. Because, yeah, we did hear that there might be some rain at the end of the race, but honestly, it's been looking like the skies have cleared up, and they have, brought out some sun. So maybe everything could turn in the next 20 plus laps. We will have to wait and see. But for now, Perry the Dog is closing up right on the back of Chargers. This is the battle for P3. Let's see Perry with the DRS coming into turn 1 now on lap 8. And not going to be close enough just yet, but this battle is definitely going to go on. I'm sure these two drivers are not going to give up any positions easily, so we will see how that one's going to turn out. Just Jose has closed up the gap a little bit on QVR Packer, and I'm starting to think maybe Packer is having a little bit of tire degradation and wear that is now starting to come into effect, because Canada is brutal on tires, especially on the soft tire. It does not survive more than about 8 or 9 laps around here.
Yeah, you're definitely correct there. The tires don't last, they only last around like 8 or 9 laps, especially on the softs, especially if you use them in qualifying, like most of these drivers did. So I'm assuming a lot of these drivers will be pitting. QVR Packer may be losing some time, as you did mention. Let's see if he's going to pit. No, he stays out. So he stays out for a little bit longer. Jose stays out as well. Chargers comes into the pit lane. Perry stays out. I was wondering which one would pull the plug and go for the undercut. It looks like Chargers has done that. X Breezy also has pit as well for the Racing Point team, and he's also been given a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So that is not good for the driver who was sitting in 5th position. Hopefully he can escape that penalty and get back into contention for the podium, as he was kind of up there. But we'll see how this works out. Where is Chargers going to come out there? Let's see. He just comes out ahead of the Alfa Romeo of Bam Bam and right behind TCR Jones. So that's actually a pretty good position. But he is going to have Jones just ahead, who looks like he's struggling on tire wear. So Chargers is going to have to overtake Jones, and then he should have pretty clean air to catch after some drivers. And it looks like that move might come pretty soon.
And medium tires for both Breezy and Chargers, so they're pretty much matching each other on that. Oh, there we go, a little bit of a move there between Jones and Chargers, and it looks like Chargers managed to get ahead very, very quickly there, but it almost looked like Chargers had to go off the track to come back onto it after the move, so that could be an interesting one. He probably got a warning for that, and you get 3 of those. You get a 3-second penalty. So far, we've only got 4 drivers with penalties. You have Enigiggle, Jones, X-Breezy, and Golderator. But I'm sure, you know, sometimes people make mistakes, and these drivers will probably get a couple more penalties before we're done with it. We're going to have to wait and see if that's going to affect the final results. But now we've got a little bit of a train going on here between Bats Plus, Be Good, and You Having a Giggle. Bats Plus started on a hard tire. Far down the grid, he was in 13th place. He's now in 7th. He's got all of these cars in front of him that have not pit yet. One of them is on mediums, but the other guys in front are on those softs that they started. Here goes Be Good for a position on You Having a Giggle. They're going to be super close. Oh, You Having a Giggle there had to touch the wall, brushing the wall on the outside on the entry into turn 8. That was very, very close between those two drivers, and now Bats Plus is right on the back wing of You Having the Giggle, and coming into this DRS, and he actually gives him a little tap on the back there, and You Having the Giggle managing to keep the car straight, but here he goes for his move. Bats Plus around the left-hand side. We have a yellow flag in Sector 2. It looks like it's Drizmic having a moment there, and there goes Bats Plus into P6, and You Having the Giggle is going to be coming into the pits now. So is Perry the Dog. QVR Packer and Just Jose continuing on for another lap on 10-lap-old soft tires. They are really pulling them out.
And Chargers has jumped Perry the Dog by quite a bit. And look who else has jumped Perry the Dog. It's X-Breezy in the Racing Point. He has jumped the Mercedes driver and has come out in P7 at the moment. But yeah, as you mentioned, the top 3, QVR Packer, Just Jose, and Ryan, who's leading this little train here, have not pit in the Grand Prix, as well as Bats Plus and Be Good, but they're going for a little longer in the race. Be Good on his teammate here. Let's see how this works out between the 2 Renaults. Are they going to use a little team orders here? We'll see how this works out, but I think he's going to maybe try and go for a send on the turn 10 hairpin. Let's see. He's going to go for it down the inside for the Renault driver, and those medium compound tires working a lot better than the softs, and Be Good gets past his teammate pretty easily. What about Bats Plus, though? Using the ERS to his advantage. Going to go around the outside. Is Ryan going to pit, though? He's going to have to brake. This might mess up Ryan's entrance into the pit lane. Let's see. As he is going to pit. Chargers, of course, is now back into the battle here, but Bats Plus is now all over the back of Be Good here for third, or second now, actually, is Just Jose does pit. But Bats Plus does not get past. Also, update, Just Jose comes out right behind Chargers, and he is on the hards. What do you make of that, Blinn?
It's a very interesting strategy, but did you see that QVR Packer pit and came back out into the lead? That is absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely. 3 seconds now ahead of Chargers. And what's even better for QVR Packer here is that the drivers ahead, Bats Plus and Be Good, are kind of holding up those drivers that were challenging for first place. Chargers, Just Jose, Breezy, Perry the Dog. And so QVR Packer is really in a good performance right now. He's had a purple sector in Sector 2. That's to be expected because, of course, he just came out of the pits. But yeah, very, very interesting strategy there. But QVR Packer with a major lead now against the other drivers is Just Jose and Breezy. It looks like they're going side by side. Is Perry the Dog going to get in the action as well? The Mercedes driver goes to the inside line. Is Just Jose gonna stay ahead? He does. But what about Perry the Dog? Side by side with the Racing Point, and Perry sends it. Oh, and there's major contact. Perry spins round, and he's off the track at the Wall of Champions. He comes back on track, and Perry the Dog, I think that was a big send, and looks like it just wasn't gonna work out. He's lost a lot of time now. But yeah, pretty crazy stuff happening on lap 13.
Wow, that was an incredible move. There was almost 3 wide on the Casino Straight coming into the last chicane. Now we've also got Chargers and Bats Plus battling it out here as they're coming into turns 3 and 4. and Chargers, sorry, managing to get the position. He's up into P3. Bats Plus now has Just Jose all over him as well as they're coming into the section of 6 and 7. How is this gonna work out? Geesh, they are so close to each other. It is unbelievable. Bats Plus holds on for now to P4. X Breezy is making a move on Just Jose as they're coming into the hairpin. There's a lot of cars side by side, and they're still side by side coming out of the hairpin as well. X Breezy is all over the back of Just Jose, trying to make something happen there, trying to go for a move anywhere he can. None of them are going to be close enough to make a move into the Wall of Champions, and you probably don't want to make any moves into there anyways. But X Breezy gets a better run on the exit right now of turn 14, coming into turn 1. Just Jose, is he going to go for it? He's not. Everybody's holding for it. Oh, but X Breezy there, almost locking up his brakes, going down the inside of Just Jose. That could have been very, very bad. And then he spins the car. He spins the car on the exit of turn 2. And this is really going to hurt him. He's ghosting right across the track right now. He's lost the position to Perry, and he's lost out on that battle that was going on. But back to it now. It's Just Jose, Bats Plus, and Chargers. And now Chargers going on Be Good for P2. Be Good has not pit yet. He's on the same tire that he started this race on the medium. But now Chargers is into P2. So Just Jose losing a lot of time behind all of these cars.
I was thinking Jose was going to try and make a move down the inside into the hairpin to make those moves to get back up into the fight for Chargers. I think he has to make these moves pretty quickly now if he's going to make the move on Chargers. What about Be Good? He's actually looking for a move on Chargers. I don't think he's going to make it though. But what about Just Jose? Trying to make a move on Bats Plus? Not quite yet. This is actually for a really good position here, as all these drivers are on about pretty good race pace here. Be Good and Bats Plus on way older tires than anyone else around them at the moment, but of course they are on similar pace pretty much. So this is a very interesting battle right here for P2 in the Grand Prix at this moment. But gotta say, quickly want to touch on what happened with Breezy there. Unfortunate to see there. But anyway, I want to move back on to Just Jose trying to go round the outside, and is he going to try and make the move? No, he tucks in right behind that Mercedes, but Bats Plus goes a little bit wide. Is that going to invite Just Jose to make the move? He got a better exit off of there, and Just Jose gets past the Mercedes, but is Bats Plus going to try and fight back? No, he does not. And Just Jose cuts a little bit of the corner there. I think that might have been a little bit of a mistake, but Just Jose in the McLaren car does get up into P4. What about Bats Plus? He's going to try and make a move. Send it down the inside. No, he does not. He has to stick behind. He is on older tires than the McLaren driver ahead. He's actually on 14-lap old tires, but that looks like Breezy, who's out of the race.
VSC for Breezy, who's crashed out. It looks like, let me get into the car of somebody here so we can see exactly where he crashed out. It looks like, yeah, turn 7 or 8. I can't even see him where he crashed out, but something happened, and we've got a couple of people pitting. So Be Good, who has not pit yet, we were just talking about him, he's into the pits. Bats Plus is into the pits, switching off. They're both going on to soft tires. Bats Plus off of that hard tire that he was on. He's going to be much, much quicker now on this soft. Let's see if anybody else is going to jump into the pits here, because this would be a good time if anybody is thinking of making a switch on their strategy. We're back to green flag racing. That was a very quick one. There's a couple of penalties, speeding in the pit lane for Jones, and also speeding under the VSC, a drive-through penalty. I'm not sure who got that one. Let me just double check here. It is Prudent and Golderator. They both got drive-throughs. Jones already has 8 seconds of penalties. You have a Giggle with 6, and then we've got a couple of drivers with 3. QVR Packer has 3 seconds of penalties to his name.
Yeah, the penalties are starting to creep in once again. Drivers might be struggling on some tires, trying to last them as long as possible. But you know who absolutely made that VSC work for them was Be Good and Bats Plus. What a great timing that was for both drivers. They've just put onto the softs and came out 8 seconds behind Perry the Dog. This is absolutely insane, and it absolutely worked out beautifully as Bats Plus actually came out of the pit lane exactly when the VSC ended. So this has worked out beautifully for them. So they got off of their old tires that they were struggling with, maybe to avoid penalties and to avoid losing time. But now the question is will those softs make it to the point that they want them to make it to? Because here's the thing. I'm starting to see the clouds maybe getting a little bit darker. Is something coming in? Maybe the rain might be creeping in a little bit later on, but will those softs make it to the end, or are they playing a totally different strategy that I'm not thinking of?
So Golderator has decided to call it quits in the pit lane. That's why we have that yellow flag in Sector 3 and Sector 1. And what we're watching as Snipper Pig is trying to find a way around Bam Bam. Bam Bam really defending hard right now. So Snipper Pig doesn't really have much that he can do, but he's going to have DRS all over the track here. We've got 3 different DRS zones here. And here comes Snipper Pig on the right-hand side of Bam Bam down into turn 7 and 8. And he makes that one work, and they are through. So that is Snipper Pig making a recovery drive after what happened to him early in the race. And he did start in P2, but he is now in P9 trying to make a recovery drive work. He's been 15 laps on the hard tire, so he had to pit on lap 3 there to switch them out. He should have probably pitted onto that VSC, but he was too far away from the pit lane, so unfortunately it did not work out for him. Let's get back to the front here. Bats Plus has made up about 1.4 seconds on Be Good, and he is now within the DRS zone of Be Good, so he's going to be closing up on it quick. We got yellow in Sector 2 and 3. It looks like Prudent.
Yep, it is Prudent in the Williams car. Something happened to him. I think he may have had the same situation that Breezy had, but it looks like he saved the car and did not end up retiring. But yeah, he's back on track, 14th at the moment. Not sure he's got wing damage. Let me quickly check. It looks like he does not. So maybe just a spin for the Williams driver. Didn't see the full I didn't see the full thing what happened there, but yeah, everything is all good. We move on from that. But yeah, as he did mention, going back up to the top of the field, Bats Plus has now got into a really good gap to Be Good, and maybe he's looking for the move, using all that EOS. Down the inside goes Bats Plus into turn 14. You don't see moves that often into that turn, but Bats Plus makes a move and gets a 3-second time penalty, though, so that's not very good for the Mercedes driver, but he did get up into P5, so kind of a situation where it's kind of like you make the move, but you lose one, too, in a situation there that he got the penalty. So he may have got a penalty, and that might affect his race quite a bit, but he did get that move done on Be Good, and now he's going to start chasing after his teammates, who's just up the road.
Yeah, I think the word you were looking for there was a trade-off. He got something good, he got the position, but unfortunately got a penalty as well. But we will see what Bats Plus can do for the rest of this race. Now back to the front, QVR Packer, almost 8 seconds away from Chargers, and those are your first and second places at the moment right now. Just Jose in third, about 3.6 seconds behind Chargers. Perry 2 seconds behind Just Jose in fourth place. So the two Mercedes running fourth and fifth right now with Perry and Bats Plus. Bats Plus is a completely different strategy. And at the start of the race, we did hear about possibly some rain coming in. We're already on lap 20 of 35. It still looks very nice and sunny on track, but you never know what could happen in this game, and also in Montreal especially. You know, even in real life in Canada, we always say that you could have all 4 seasons in a day around here, so anything could turn right now. We could possibly get some wet weather racing into the end of this race. That would definitely be very exciting. I'm sure a lot of our viewers would love to see that, but we can't control it, so we'll just have to wait and see. But so far, great race, very clean race as well. And right now, there's only a couple of different battles going on here with Be Good and Bats Plus, and Snipper Pig is closing up on Ryan. But this is a good chance for us to mention a couple of things about the league, and especially our sponsors. Our affiliate sponsor, Fanatec. Check out the link in the description if you're looking to buy yourself some gear, and you'll be helping out the league in doing so as well. So check out their shop and their products. They're absolutely amazing. Other than that, check out the TCR shop. We've got some stickers to offer you guys. There are all a bunch of different stickers of TCR logos and different variations of them. They're really cool. They're only a few bucks. They're provided to us by Sticky Fingers Canada, and check them out as well. You'll be helping out the league in that as well. And here comes Snipper Pig on Ryan. and he's trying to make the position, but Ryan is defending hard. They're going to be side by side. Nope. Snipper Pig manages to get the position. P7 for him, and he gets a 3-second penalty as well. So another trade-off for Snipper Pig there, just like Bats Plus did a little bit ago.
Yeah, exactly. Another trade-off between that, as you make the position, but you do get a penalty for it. So, was it a win? I guess it was, but you do have to make up that time. But I think Snipper Pig can do so. He's a very good driver. And look at that. Bats Plus already making up a lot of time on Perry the Dog. Now the gap is 6.7 seconds to the Mercedes driver. Something else that did happen is Chargers just came into the pit lane. This is kind of big news into the race because, of course, you all know Chargers, he was in the podium. He's now dropped to 6 because he has pit. Now, why has he pit? He was on 11 lap old medium compound tires that he did go into the pits with, of course. And now he's come out on fresh new tires on lap 22. Of course, those tires can make it to the end of the race. And I think Chargers is probably like, why not just get it done now? I mean, like, the intermediate tires could come into play towards the end of the Grand Prix. It's starting to get a little dark, but no sights of rain quite a lot right now. We're going to see the rain maybe towards the end. It's kind of a possibility at the moment. We don't really know. But maybe Chargers just thinking, like, I'm losing a lot of pace. Maybe I can pit and just start pulling in those lap times. So I think that's probably where it is right now. And I'm kind of just still waiting for those the wet weather to maybe come in. But every lap that this gets longer into the race, I'm starting to think, is the rain actually coming? Because maybe it's going to come on the final few laps, but I don't think it's going to be that bad. We'll have to see how this works out, though.
I think one thing that might be super interesting is if we do get that rain, as you mentioned, on very couple of last laps or so, it's gonna be interesting to see who's going to be on what sort of tire compound and how many laps they've done on them, because if you have to finish the race on the light rain, slightly wet conditions, but on a dry tire, and you don't want to make any pit stops, obviously, because track position is going to be super, important at that point in the race. If you're on super worn-out tires that would have worked out beautifully for your strategy if the rain wouldn't have come, I think you're going to be in a really bad position. So that is going to be a factor that we need to watch out for if the weather does come as it was promised in the forecast. But again, with this game, you can never really trust it. We'll just wait and see. For now, we've got a couple of drivers starting to close up on other drivers. We mentioned Chargers. He just pitted for those mediums. He is now closing up to Be Good. So he's made up a lot of time very, very quickly. Bats Plus was making up time on Perry, but not in a very, quick pace right now. He's only made up about 4/10 on the last lap. So he's closing up, but those soft tires, I mean, he's already done 7 laps on them. He's not going to be able to take them to the end. Neither is Be Good. So those two guys are probably going for another stop, and they are probably banking on the rain that it will come. I'm not sure how that's going to all play out right now, but this is turning out to be a great race. I'm loving it.
Absolutely, I gotta agree with you. It's turning into a very interesting race. Right now I'm just starting to think of strategy, as we do have Chargers all over the back of Be Good. So I kind of want to pay attention to this. I think he lost a little bit of time through turn 4, but I think he's going to get a better exit a little bit later on. But yeah, this kind of goes back to what you said a little bit earlier on, that the tires on the soft tires kind of wear down when it gets to the lap 8, lap 9 mark. And so we're starting to get that to that point, because Be Good and Bats Plus are on 8-lap-old soft tires. Now, of course, they are new tires, I think, and so the tire wear will probably be like lap 10, 11. That's when it probably gets into the really struggling points. But right now, the drivers are already struggling, so the softs aren't really that good. And as we did mention earlier on, degradation is really bad for round 2 when it comes to the soft compound tires. But anyway, Chargers does get passed up into P5. That was a pretty crucial move for the Red Bull driver. And yeah, now he gets up into P5. He's going to start hunting down Bats Plus, and I think Chargers is going to be the one that's going to take over that, closing the gap to Perry the Dog from Bats Plus, because Bats Plus is starting to lose a little bit of time here, as we did mention. And so Chargers is going to be the one, I think, that will be making the moves to try making that gap up on Perry the Dog. And right now, Chargers is all over the back of Bats Plus, who is struggling quite a bit. Bats Plus is, as oh my goodness, you can see it as we're riding up with Chargers. I am right now, and Bats Plus, it looks like Chargers is just going to get past. Really good pace with that Red Bull too. He didn't even have to use any ERS. And the Red Bull driver does get ahead. Bats Plus knows that. I think that's why he didn't use too much ERS there, because there's not really a point in fighting that, because the Chargers is on fresher tires. I think Bats Plus and Be Good have to start thinking about pitting. And someone else that should probably start thinking about pitting is Snipper Pig, who is on 23 lap old hards. I think he might be getting into puncture territory.
Yeah, this is going to get very interesting towards the end of this race. We've got 9 laps to go. No sign of that promised rain just yet, but again, it could come at any second, and you never know what might happen. It is getting a little bit grayer on track. It's not as sunny as it used to be, so maybe we might just get it for the last couple of laps, and if we do, it might be a change of the race for somebody. It might end up the same way as it is right now. We don't really know, but I'm sure it's going to, add for an extra excitement. Now, let's take a look at penalties, because a lot of drivers on track now have penalties. QVR Packer, Just Jose, and Perry in first, second, and third place. They have 3 seconds each, so they're pretty much even, and they are exactly in the position that they're in right now. Now, Chargers is 5.3 seconds behind Perry, has no penalties, so he could possibly make up a position just based on that. We've got Bats Plus, Be Good, and Snipper Pig all with 3 seconds each. You have in the Giggle 6 seconds, so Bam Bam again needs to close up a little bit of a gap, and he might get 8th place if he's within 6 seconds of You Have in the Giggle. Ryan in 10th place, 3 seconds to his name, and then Jones with 11 seconds of penalties, but he's safe because Yuppie is 20 seconds behind him, and then Prudent has 3 seconds to his name as well. So the penalties could still play a role in tonight's results. We will wait for that. Bats Plus now dropping on Chargers by about 2 seconds. Chargers now really starting to close up on Perry.
Yeah, this is getting interesting. I also been monitoring the gaps here between Chargers and Perry, just kind of thinking when he will be in that striking distance. I think he will be probably, at the pace he's showing right now, I think he should be in striking distance by lap 31, maybe lap 30, if he starts gaining a little bit more time, and he's actually doing that. So I think around lap 30, that's where he's going to get Perry the Dog here. But as we did mention, right now, he's got 3rd place. He actually has 3rd place at the moment because he's got no penalties at the moment. Of course, that could change towards the end of the Grand Prix, but right now he is in that gap to stay to get 3rd place. But I don't think he's actually going for that. I think he's going for 2nd here, because the gap from Perry to Just Jose is 4 seconds. So I want to say Chargers is probably going for 2nd here. So that's probably a driver to look out for. Something else to keep in mind is the battle for 5th. Bats Plus, Be Good, Snipper Pig, all basically have to pit in this race. You having a Giggle, 6-second time penalty, so that could affect his race because everyone around him pretty much has 3 seconds, except Bam Bam, who's got no penalties at the moment, but he's struggling with tires right now. But I think we could see a nice little battle between Bats Plus, Be Good, Snipper Pig, and you having a Giggle there for P5 in the Grand Prix.
And Chargers getting the assist of DRS on a lapped car of Prudent, so he's gonna close up that gap to Perry. So he's already in P3 right now because of Perry's penalty. Now he just needs to close up more. QVR Packer gets another 3 seconds, so he's now got 6 seconds of penalties to his name. He's still safe with Just Jose, but I gotta say, the track is getting grayer and grayer. It might start getting drizzly in a little bit here. We might start seeing some drops. I wouldn't be surprised. This is, again, such a great track, and it's delivered another amazing Grand Prix here tonight. Even if it doesn't rain, we've seen some great battling. We've seen some incidents. But also, right now, as it stands, it's going to be Mercedes getting a little bit more points than Red Bull in the Constructors' Championship to get themselves a little bit further ahead. But QVR Packer is really in a great position to pull out ahead of his main competitor, Snipper Pig. And people like Chargers and Bats Plus and Fairy the Dog, they're going to make up a lot of points on second place on Snipper Pig. So this championship lead might change here, like I was predicting, you know, and now Chargers is within the DRS zone of Fairy as well. This is turning out to be a very, very interesting part of this Grand Prix. This is going to be where everything is going to be decided right at the end.
Yeah, this is getting really interesting. There's a lot of factors that play into effect here. Chargers all over the back of Perry the Dog as we now are starting lap 30 now as QVR Packer does so. So Chargers will be making that move on Perry the Dog. Really interesting to see how this race has swung in a totally different direction for Mercedes, as they did have a very difficult qualifying, and now Red Bull are actually on the one struggling here. Chargers at the moment in a really good position as Be Good gets past Bats Plus, who's pitting actually onto a new set of soft compound tires. Now this also gets into a really good situation here. So the rain could come in at the final few laps of the race. This could come into a very difficult situation for a lot of drivers. Do they stay out and win and get a good result, or do they pit? And that could end up for a really good result. I'll come back to that in just a second, because we've got Chargers making a move on Perry the Dog into turn 7 and 8. They're going side by side, and the Red Bull just gets ahead, and Perry the Dog actually has to go wide there. Wasn't sure what happened there, but he does end up P4. Chargers does come away for P3, but a really big talking point is the rain right now, because if this comes in towards the end of the Grand Prix, drivers could be absolutely having issues right here with sliding around, and Just Jose and QVR Packer could be actually in danger if they make little mistakes. Chargers could be all over the back of this win here, because it's actually possible here if the rain comes into play and we see drivers staying on those tires. It's a really interesting, and there is rain.
There's drops.
There is rain.
Yep. There's drops. There's drops on the track. We're having some very, very light drops right now. I saw a couple of them, but there comes the rain on lap 31 or 35. So we're gonna have about maybe 3 or 4 laps in slightly wet conditions. Let's see how this is going to play out. If you guys are just joining us, you're joining at a great time, but if you've missed out on this race after it's done, trust me, you want to rewatch this one. This is an absolute classic around here, around the Canadian Grand Prix. It's one of my favorite tracks, and this is exactly why. You never know what's going to happen. The battles that we've had here today, the 2 Mercedes drivers recovering from pretty much the back of the grid and making a great drive there. Bats Plus managing to do a 2-stop and still holding on to 6th position right now. He might be in a good position. QVR Packer, though, still leading this race. He's got a couple of lapped cars around here in front of him, and he is staying out there on those medium tires. Nobody is pitting just yet. The drops are intensifying. I'm seeing more and more rain as we're now on lap 32. So who's going to pull the plug? Is anyone going to pull the plug? Is anyone going to put on those intermediates? Or are we going to be finishing this race on a wet track but in dry tires? The DRS is still enabled. Ryan is overtaking Bam Bam right now with his DRS, but QVR Packer is actually getting DRS on both of these lapped cars, so that's helping him pretty much extend his lead. Oh, we've got a yellow flag there. It looks like a Ferrari had a moment, but they are back on track now, so everything should be good there. QVR Packer overtaking some lapped cars and staying out in the lead. Just Jose 17 seconds behind them. Chargers in 3rd place, 6 seconds behind Just Jose, and Just Jose only... Oh, he does have 6 seconds of penalty, so Chargers could get 2nd place here tonight.
Chargers could, yeah. I think Just Jose recently got that another 3-second time penalty. So if Chargers stays within 6 seconds, he's got P2, and actually he's really close to that right now. He's losing a little bit of time. Now down to 6.1. If he gets that within like around 5.9, then he is within the 2nd place here. You having a giggle is just pit for the intermediate compound tires. Does he think it's the right conditions? He might be taking a huge risk here that could it could be a mistake or could totally work out. You never know. Something else to keep in mind as well is that QVR Packer and Just Jose are on 21-lap-old mediums and hard compound tires, respectively, for those cars. This could come into an effect as they might be having a little bit of tire wear at the moment. But I gotta say, a driver that's probably having a lot of tire wear and a lot of issues I bet is Snipper Pig, but he's actually doing an absolutely amazing job on 30-lap-old hard tires. Those hards are actually working out for him quite a bit. So, very surprised. He's now on 31-lap-old tires. But you can tell the intermediates are definitely not the tires right now, as you have a giggle losing a lot of positions at the moment. But we're now on lap 33 of lap 35. Will the rain intensify, or will it stay the same? And, yeah, we're just going to have to wait and see.
Oh, Just Jose very wiggly out of turn 10, trying to keep it together. Unfortunately, Chargers did get a penalty to his name. So Chargers now has 3 seconds of penalties, so he will not be able to contend for that P2 with Just Jose, because there's going to be a 3-second difference between them. So that is unfortunately hurt Chargers a little bit. But if he can recover an extra couple of seconds in the next couple of laps, he still might be able to get that position. It just depends on how well Just Jose is going to be able to survive on his 22-lap-old hard tires. QVR Packer out in the front, we can't forget about him. He's on a medium tire that's also done 22 laps. So, he might be struggling even more than Just Jose, but he's only got a couple more laps to go, so he just needs to bring that car home for another win. This will be win number 4 for him this season if he can bring it to the line and take it there. So, wow, that is a very interesting change of events here with that rain coming in, but the DRS is still enabled, so it didn't really affect anything.
And Bats Plus just got past Be Good. Fresher tires for the Mercedes driver, as Be Good is on 18-lap-old softs. Sorry to cut off your conversation here, Blinn, but yeah, I forgot the name. I forgot what I was saying. But, yeah, Bats Plus basically just got past Be Good. And, yeah, big stuff in this race, as Be Good does lose a position on those 18-lap-old soft tires. How is he doing that? That's like 10-lap older tires than we were thinking. Because the 8-lap-old tire, if you were on 8-lap-old tires, I assume those start degrading quite a bit. But Be Good is on 18-lap-old softs. He's now coming onto the final lap of the Grand Prix. But yeah, I think he's going to finish 6th, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, pretty good race so far. QVR Packers just coming around the final hairpin here. And of course, the final heavy braking zone, I want to say. Chargers has got it down to 2.9 seconds. If he stays like this, he'll get P2.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. He's down to 2.6 seconds now. He's doing a very good job of closing up on Just Jose with that better tire, that fresher tire, locking up those fronts a little bit. But, of course, in these conditions, it's hard to keep it straight. And there goes QVR Packer across the line to win here tonight in Canada in the Golden Class. And that's win number 4 for him. Just Jose coming in through the last chicane right now. If he can finish this one, he's going to be in P2. Oh, he almost loses the car, almost smashes it into the wall, but holding on to it here, he's going to be P2, but Chargers is going to steal P2 away from him, as he was within about 2.1 seconds of Just Jose. So Chargers in second, Just Jose in third. Yeah, well, what happened there?
Perry just got a puncture. Perry just got a puncture on 24-lap-old medians. Bats Plus gets passed into P4. Perry the dog. This is absolute drama on the final lap. This is kind of the same situation that happens to Sir Charles in the Silver Class race, as he's just barely going through the turn 14, almost spinning the car here. Be Good could be in a performance here to try and get P5, I want to say. No, Perry the dog is going to slowly come across the line, and he does take P5. Be Good will be P6, but that was very close. Perry the dog does lose a position. Bats Plus does come home for P4 from almost the back of the grid. But what an amazing race here today at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve here at the Canadian Grand Prix for Golden Class. What an amazing race here today at the Canadian Grand Prix for Golden Class.
Oh,
QVR
sorry, I
Packer
was on
race
mute there.
winner.
I'm
Oh, okay.
I was so sorry. I was on mute. That's why you guys couldn't hear me. But I was gonna say, yeah, QVR Packer with win number 4 in season 11 here, extending its championship lead at the top of the table. Chargers in P2, Just Jose in P3 in the McLaren. Another podium finish for him as well, which is really great. Bats Plus in 4th, Barry the Dog in 5th, Be Good in 6th, Nipper Pig was in 7th place. We have Ryan in 8th place, Bam Bam in 9th, and Jones got the last point of the race here. Drizmic was in 11th, Yuppie in 12th, You Having a Giggle in 13th, Prudent in 14th, and Golderator, same TJ, and X Breezy, unfortunately, did not finish this race tonight. But what a race this was. Very exhilarating, very interesting from start to finish. That rain, unfortunately, didn't really change much. The DRS was disabled on the very last lap, but it was a great race from qualifying all the way up to that rain and that finish. So let's try and get our drivers into the chat here, and we will hear from them and how the race went from their perspective. Are you able to do that, Broom?
Yep, I am doing that right now. So give me
Awesome.
1 second, and yeah, we'll get our top 3 in here to do a post-race interview.
All right, great. But yeah, if you guys missed out on that one, what a race that was. That was super exciting. Definitely check it out. Subscribe to the channel. Leave us a like on the video. Leave us some more comments as well. Check out all the links in the description to our sponsors and our TCR shop. And get ready to hear from our podium finishers here tonight in just a couple of moments. We'll be right back with them. Tomorrow, of course, we still have our Platinum class drivers. They're going to be driving around here at the Canadian Grand Prix as well. And from what I heard, I think Seafreeze might be in the booth tomorrow with you guys. So I'm sure you guys will enjoy that. I know our viewers really like hearing from Seafreeze. So he'll be here tomorrow. Tune in for that. And yeah, as I mentioned, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, so you can stay up to date on all of the events and all the races and all the videos that we put up on our channel. You can also check out all of our other social media or our website. You can even sign up to race with us if you like. There's a form that you can fill out, and you'll be able to join some of the great legends and names here in TCR. So I do see that we have our winner, QVR Packer, in the lobby with us. So first of all, congratulations, QVR Packer, on another win this season. This is win number 4 for you. I think this is podium number 6 or number 5 this season for you. So a very dominant performance. You came into the season and, you've had some ups and downs, but mostly you've had some really good point finishes and now extending your lead at the top of the table. So how are you feeling after that one?
Feeling pretty good. Well, I don't want to say obviously, but Canada is one of my favorite tracks, so being able to come into here tonight, put in a pretty decent qualifying lap, and then be able to control the race from the front was really the goal, and we made it work. So yeah, pretty decent race overall, and then yeah, happy with the race win.
And of course, we're going to the USA next week. How are you feeling about that track and the rest of the tracks remaining? We have USA and Mexico. Can you hold on to this championship?
I'd like to think so. I think coming into the night, hold on, let me just check real quick if I can look at the results. The gap was 17 points, so extending that over Snipper Pig or just everyone over across the field, I think is going to be good. And maybe I could win it next time out in USA. That'd be nice. That'd probably be the goal. But USA isn't one of my best tracks, and then Mexico, if it does end up going down to the finale, it should be. Mexico is also another one of my really good tracks. So hopefully I can wrap it up before it does come down to Mexico.
All right, Broom Handle, any questions for our winner tonight?
I do, of course. Yeah, of course. I gotta say, QVR Packer, absolutely amazing job. Congrats on that 4th race victory, if I'm not mistaken, at the Canadian Grand Prix. You mentioned that this track is one of your favorites on the calendar. how were you able to keep consistent? Because we saw you pretty much dominate that race. You were really consistent throughout the entire race. Do you just suit this track, or how did the performance kind of come into that race win from pole, I do believe, to the race win for a pretty consistent drive? How did that work out?
I guess it's just repetition. I do this track, or when I end up doing this track for league races, I end up doing quite a bit of practice. So, just having that, I guess, or having the time put into the game and put into this track specifically, as well as just enjoying it from since I began playing F1s on F1 2017. So, yeah, just being able to enjoy it is also a big factor in that, as well as having people in the party that I guess make me feel comfortable about my racing and just in general stuff like that. So yeah, it's a few factors, but mainly just having the experience in the track time.
All right. Well, congrats again on the win here tonight. Good luck for the rest of the season. I think I did see the other two on two Chargers. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, perfect. Well, Chargers, that was a especially towards the end there, you needed to close up the gap on just Jose in front of you. There was a little bit of a difference in penalties. You were actually very clean on the penalty side right up until the last few laps of the race there. So talk us through the race from your perspective. How did it go?
So I think I started third, which I was pretty happy with how horrible that lap was. Yeah, first stint was just trying to. I think I got jumped off the start by Jose, I think, and then him and Snipper made contact. Not sure what happened. It was kind of like a racing incident thing. And then I was behind them two for most of that first stint. And then I knew there was rain coming at the end of the race, so it was kind of like the decision of, do you want to pit early and just do like a two-stop and treat it like a normal race, or kind of push a little longer on the softs and try to go into the mediums or hards and take that until the rain. I kind of figured the rain was coming. It sounded like the rain was coming pretty late in the race, so I kind of just was going to treat it like a normal race, and so I kind of got an undercut on both my pit stops, which I think it kind of ended out maybe not being a wash, if not a little bit slower than doing a one-stop. But yeah, I was just trying to be consistent and not get penalties. Thought I threw away the P2 and I got that penalty with like a few laps to go. But yeah, Jose's pace really fell off at the end on those tires as the rain started to get a little heavier. Yeah, those last two laps though, I was basically pushing as hard as I could possibly do in those conditions. So yeah, I was pretty happy by getting second. Yeah, obviously Packer's pace today was a lot faster than everyone else, so he just definitely deserved the win. I was hoping for a late safety car. Could have maybe won if that happened, but Packer deserved the win though. But I'm definitely happy to have an incident-free race for once and finish second.
Nice, yeah. And how are you feeling about USA and Mexico left on the calendar to finish off season 11?
I like both those tracks. I think USA was the one race I won last year in Golden, so hopefully I could try to repeat that. I mean, out of the championship now, so really just trying to win a race in the last two races.
All right, Brew, any questions for Chargers?
Oh, yes. Want to say great job today. You absolutely did an amazing job. First of all, you're one of the only drivers not to get a load of penalties, I want to say. I do believe you only ended up with 3 seconds of time penalties. So congrats on that. It's a very hard thing to do, I know from experience. But I wanted to ask you, first of all, actually I had two questions. I wanted to first ask you about that pit stop you made. I think you were on 11 lap-old medium compound tires. And was that decision to hit like kind of early, because I those mediums maybe could have lasted for a little bit longer, but was that to pit early and maybe get the jump on the drivers ahead? But could you talk me through exactly what happened there and why you pitted that soon on those medium compound tires, and possibly why that strategy may have gotten you to second place?
So I tried to kind of get an undercut by pitting. I knew that the rain was going to come at the end, so I didn't know if it was going to be wet enough for inters or not. So I kind of thought if it came to like inters with like 2-3 laps to go, if I pit like on that lap, which is like 11 laps, it would have split the stints in two, and it would have kind of given me the most pace. So I mean, yeah, that was kind of the thinking behind it there. But I think I actually was second before it, so I think it maybe cost me like 5 seconds, but it still ended up at P2 in the end.
All right.
One more quick question.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just had a quick question real quickly. For constructors, you guys are really close, Red Bull versus Mercedes. Do you guys think you can do it, you and Snipper Pig, to take home the constructors for Golden Class?
Yeah, it should be a pretty close fight the last two races. I think we were probably pretty even today on points, and I think we might have like a 1 point lead maybe coming into today, I think. So it should be pretty, like, just about tied, if not exactly tied after this race. So yeah, it should be a good fight. Hopefully we can win it.
Awesome. All right. Well, Chargers, congrats again on P2. Good luck for the rest of the season. Let's move on to our last podium finisher tonight, which was Just Jose. Just Jose, nice to see you on the podium once again this season. You, of course, won your first race in TCR in Russia, and now getting P3 here tonight, almost getting P2, but I think there was a couple of things that sort of hurt you a little bit. Obviously, the 6 seconds of penalties, but also you didn't go for the pit strategy or for the undercut on QVR Packer, because up until your first pit stop, you and Packer were very, very close to each other. So walk us through that first starting phase of the race, and also your pit strategy sort of decisions there.
Well, yeah, the start was something else for me. My qualifying lap was not good at all. I got P5, but on the start, I got as lucky as you can get on a start. I dropped the clutch early, by mistake, but lights just went out, so I got like the perfect start. I would have gotten a drive-through if it weren't for my luck. So I managed to jump up to P3, I think. And before the second turn, I managed to get up the inside of Snipper Pig. But then on turn 3, I don't know what happened there. I tried to take the turn as normal, because I was on the inside. But he hit me, then I got oversteered, then I caught the car, then I hit him again, and I don't know if it was my fault or not. I think it was a racing incident. But yeah, after that I managed to keep close to Packer, like not more than 3 seconds. And yeah, I didn't come prepared for this race, like strategy wise. So I went for softs and hards, and everybody else went softs and mediums. So when Packer pitted, I pitted at the same time, but when we came out, he came out in front of a really nice train that was formed up, like 5 or 4 cars. I ended up in the middle, so I had to overtake, and yeah, that really cost me any opportunity I had of catching Packer. And yeah, that at least it got me some real nice battles, but in the end, it made me lose the position to Chargers, because I don't know, my hard tires were absolutely like whack on the rain. I was sliding everywhere on the chicane. I locked up both of my front wheels, and yeah, on that last lap alone, Chargers gained like 1.5 seconds on me. So yeah, well deserved from both of them. Packer was really on another level today, though. But I'm happy with P3.
Yeah, and clearly it was a little bit difficult to drive around there with strict strict conditions for corner cutting on Canada, especially when that rain came. Were you sort of surprised by that rain, or did you know it was coming? Were you sort of putting that into your strategy at the start?
Now, I knew it was coming, but I really didn't think that the mediums were going to last, which is why I went to the hards. I thought everyone was going to do what Chargers did with a 2-stop, but, well, evidently that wasn't the case. So I was trying to get till the rain period with my hards, and the rain didn't even came early enough to make a difference, and I ended up with an old set of hards sliding all around on the rain. So massive fuck up on the strategy side, really.
Very good there. All right, Broom, your questions for Just Jose.
Yeah, I want to say, man, congrats on the P3. Well deserved, of course. You did an absolutely amazing job with the Canadian Grand Prix. I actually have a question about the next race. Next race is the USA race. How are you feeling about that race? Do you think you'll have some pace around there? And what's your thoughts about the upcoming races?
Well, USA, I don't know what to think about USA. I haven't done a league in there in a while. But last time I did, I went pretty well. I can take myself around the lap of USA pretty easily. Not like here in Canada, which I have to practice like a lot just to get used to the track and to the turns and not crash everywhere. So yeah, I think that'll be good. And Mexico especially, I think it's a good circuit for me. I've had some great races there, and that's where I think I can strike a win away from the championship leaders.
All right, so that's your 3 podium finishers there. Congrats to Jose for P3. Good luck for the rest of the season. We've already heard from QVR Packer and Chargers. Broom, I want to hear from you. This was a really crazy race. There was a lot going on. We were talking about all different factors throughout it. So tell me how you feel about that one.
I want to say that was a very enjoyable race. Really incredible driving from everyone out on track. Really I want to say really consistent driving from everyone. Like, it was just really good to see everyone go wheel to wheel. Awesome battling on track, especially around a track like this that can be great at times for overtaking, but also really difficult to stick an overtake into certain turns like turn 8 and turn 14, Wall of Champions. So just really consistent driving and great overtakes. Everything you can really ask for in a Grand Prix. It had rain. It had virtual safety cars. It had totally different strategies from each of our drivers. And so really incredible race and a fantastic one to watch. And really look forward to the next one at the Circuit of the Americas, COTA, as we call it for short, of course, next week. And yeah, just want to say, Blinn, thanks so much for commentating with me. Thank you for having me on, and thanks so much for TCR for having me on to commentate. And look forward to the next one, whenever that might be for me.
Absolutely. It's always a pleasure to commentate alongside with you, Broom, so I'll be happy to do that anytime. But don't forget, before we go to COTA, we also have the Platinum class racing here tomorrow, and Seafreeze will be commentating that race. That one is going to be at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as always. So join us tomorrow. I want to thank everybody again that's been watching so far. Make sure you leave us a like, send in some comments, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and we will be back with you guys tomorrow. I also want to thank all of the drivers here tonight in the Golden class. This Golden class has been super close, and it's still going to be very close until the very end. So I'm excited to see how this one's going to end. Other than that, of course, huge thank you to all the TCR officials, all the everybody who works in TCR behind the scenes and making this league run as it does every single week. So thanks to everyone. Check out all the links in the description that help us out there. So check out our affiliate sponsor Fanatec, our TCR shop, and also our website if you want to sign up to race with us. But from Blinn Machine, from Broom Handle, from all of the drivers here tonight in the Golden class of Trinity Competitive Racing, thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you tomorrow. Have a great night.